Hi, welcome to Watcher DM. I'm Gabriel, and yeah, today I wanted to try something a little different. So I recently found this Mini Myth zine on itch from Studio Minch. So yeah, you can find Studio Minch on itch. I'll put a link down in the comments section or in the description of the video. And I've been wanting to do some kind of solo role playing stuff that was light, didn't take very long, and kind of used some stuff that I've already built. So I figured I would check this system out and kind of try it all in one shot, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. So we're going to start by creating our character. And so it says here, create a character. Every adventure needs a hero. Print out the character sheet, which I've already done, and follow these steps to create your own. Who are you? Name your character. If you want to, describe how they look, talk, and think. So I think I'm going to play Jim, the Human Man, courtesy of my friend Chelsea, who when they need to polymorph their monstrous characters, or like disguise self their monstrous characters, they usually disguise them as Jim the Human Man. So that's what we're going to do here. And then I guess look tough, slow, and happy. So I think Jim the Human Man will just be a little ball of aggressive sunshine. Can you take a punch? So I think we roll a d6. Oops. Rolled a 5. And we add 6. So that is an 11. Oh, wait. Oh, this is the hit points. Hit points, I see. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of strength. Alright, so max 11 hit points, and I currently have 11. And then we begin with 2 in all stats. So we define strengths and weaknesses by assigning +2 and +1 to 2 different stats of your choosing. So I think my strength will be 4, my nimbleness will be 3, and my mystic will be 2. Okay. Spend 3 skill points on any skills or spells of your choosing. So I think, yeah, he's going to be a Juggernaut, level 1. A Sentinel, level 1. And a Berserker, level 1. I think that's what we'll get there. So this is deal 2 times damage, take 2 times damage. Deal 2 damage and stun the foe is Juggernaut. And then the Sentinel is instantly spot traps and secrets. So that should be cool. Alright, so finally, use the equipment table on the opposite page, that's this here, to equip yourself for the journey ahead. So we roll d6 and add 6 for a coin. So I got 6. So I start with 12 coin. And then choose or roll a weapon. I think we'll go ahead and roll. So I rolled a 1. So that's a sword, mace, or axe. I guess Jim the Human Man is probably, I imagine he's an axe man. And then armor, we got a 5. So that is heavy armor. which, interesting. Okay, so this puts my nim. Oh, you know what? I can't. I don't want to do that. My max is still 3. My now is 2, and my mystic is 0. So that's cool. I wonder. Okay, I see. So 2 times, roll for a tool and then a consumable. So we'll roll for a tool. We got a water skin. And then roll for a consumable. And we got 4. We got a torch times 3. Excellent. Okay. So we have made our character. With that settled, off you go. Adventure awaits. Jim the Human Man, off into adventure. So we're going to learn the basics of this together. And how we're going to do that is I'm going to bring this up here. We're going to retarget this. I'm just going to read it here kind of closer to the camera so you can kind of see, I assume, what's going on here. So the lore master describes and controls an imaginary world and its inhabitants. You still see that? The players, in return, describe how their fictional characters interact with the world, take on quests, explore the world, seek glory and riches. Jim's a riches guy, it's true. When the stakes are high, the lore master will ask a player to roll a stat test based on the nature of their hero's actions. So smash, lift, throw, build, intimidate is strong. Sneak, climb, evade, track, perceive is nimble. Persuade, know, sense, cast, and analyze is mystic. Roll a die, and if the result is lower or equal to the relevant stat, hooray, it's a success. If not, yikes, it's a failure. Clever and daring actions in any situation that requires a stat test can persuade the lore master to kindly grant you a smooth roll. Its advantage. Not that complicated. A bit too creative. Unfortunately, the lore master might force a rough roll, so disadvantage. Desperate. Once per day, you can reroll a stat test. Success or fail, gain -1 to the stat for the rest of the day. Oh, that's brutal, but I like it. If a hero's health falls to 0 or lower, ouch, see death. Okay. Skills and spells. Can I still get this camera here? Okay. The player's characters are capable and gifted heroes. Interacting with the world, players can make creative use of the skills and spells in their character sheets. Skills succeed instantly and require no stat test. To gain access to a skill or spell, spend skill points to unlock at least 1 level in a skill or spell. You can unlock a maximum of 5 unique skills and spells, which can then each be upgraded to skill level 3. Each skill indicates how many daily uses you have. So a level 2 skill can be used 2 times a day. Easy. Unlike skills, casting spells is a powerful but dangerous endeavor. Spells require rolling a miss stat test. If a stat test fails, you roll a die. A disaster occurs. So you can be cursed. Let go. It's unstable. Your weapon shatters. Oh, interesting. You lose control. So take 5 damage. Ignores armor. Ouch. No. Come back. See death. Okay, so I think death is it's a little rule here. We'll get there. Will we get there? I'm looking for death. Not in the traditional sense. I think I found it. It's in the back. Okay. So combat. Players can always talk, trick, and sneak out of any hostile situation. Are we still good here? Sorry. I feel like this. I don't have autofocus enabled because it's like, when it's this close, it just jumps all over the place. So, sorry. Players can always talk, trick, and sneak out of any hostile situation, avoiding violence. But if they fail to do so, roll for turn initiative. So on a 1 through 3, players go first. 4 through 6, opponents go first. During player's turn, you can do one of the following. Attack with your weapon, test the relevant stats. So stir or nim for melee one-handed, strength for melee two-handed, nimble for ranged, or mystic for mystic. Use an ability, skill, or spell instead of a weapon. Attempt to negotiate if the foe has under a third hit points left. Under 1 out of 3 hit points left, or less than 1/3 of foes remain, roll a miss stat test. Flee all players' turn and run. Spend a turn rolling a nim stat test. When foes attack, players must test nim. Failing results in players receiving damage and other bad stuff. Once every turn, an opponent has performed an action during their turn, a new round begins. Combat ends when players beat all foes, successfully negotiate or flee. Failed the above, your fate is at the mercy of the lore master. During combat, different weapon types have unique weapon powers that can turn the tide of battle. So, a melee one-handed, if using 2 one-handed melee weapons, damage roll times 2, take the highest roll. So you get advantage if you're rolling. Oh, and you take the highest roll -1. So that's kind of cool. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's kind of weird. How does that work? I see. When you roll for damage. Is that right? So damage is just a die. I see. So it's just a d6. I see. Okay. So I'd roll a d6 times 2, and I would take the highest and subtract 1. That's pretty cool. And then this, you roll a die -2 damage to all targets. Okay, so you can actually do like a sweeping strike or a cleave. Ranged, you get a free shot on the target once per fight. You can roll a miss stat test if you have a mystic. Okay, shield ignores all damage. Unarmed, simply deal 2 damage. It's passive. Conditions are temporary effects that can improve your hero's action or instead harm any enemy or you. And then there's a bunch of things here. So poison, burn, freeze, stun, curse, heal, focus, guard, cure, bless. Interesting. Okay, that's the equipment we've already checked out. So let's check out time, growth, and death here. These are the rules on the back. And I'm just going to give this another tap so we focus in here. A day is defined as the time spent before an adventure, in town, and travel, and during the adventure itself. After an adventure, spend the night resting and end the day. This resets all characters' health, stats, skill, and spell uses, and removes any active conditions from that day. Successfully making it to the end of an adventure also means that your character grows in experience. Characters grow tougher and learn new skills and spells, or improve the ones they already know. Permanently add +3 health, HP, and spend 2 skill points on new or existing skills and spells. Days without a completed adventure don't gain growth. The opposite of growth is death. If your health falls to 0 or less, you are at death's door. Roll a die for your fate. So 1 through 3, you cheat death. You live, return with 3 health. It's odds are cheat death. Evens are embrace death. Rest in peace, hero. What a cool little rule system. I like this. I think this is a very clever thing. Now, one thing that these little things that I've written here that I've created. I gotta reset my focus here. These little so I made like this, for instance, my bookmark. Not my bookmark. This is my business card. And it's a little dungeon. So I thought maybe we could run Jim the Human Man through my little one-page dungeon, or my little business card dungeon here. So Jim starts out here, and he finds himself in front of the door of a place called, I think it's just called Watcher DM, and it's a tower with like a great big eye above it. And it's been kind of the problem for a while. It seems this place always knows what's going down. And yeah, I think they make problems here for the local lords, and so those lords have banded together to have Jim the Human Man pay them a visit and kind of shake them down. And so he walks in the front door, which is not locked. I don't think. Check here. Yeah. He finds himself in a gift shop. A large, pushy, dancing sword. It's a flying sword, immune to swords. Guards and sells adventure books. I think there are 2 exits from this room. So, yeah, I think Jim will probably peruse the books a little bit. He'll kind of flip through some adventures. I think he probably checks out the Warlock Joe series. You could check those out too. But also, I think he maybe tries to get eyeline on this dancing sword and see how observant it is. But I do believe it is trying to watch the doors. So when he goes to, he tries to go and sneak through the side door, we're going to say. And unfortunately, he rolled a 6. So he is caught by the dancing sword, who flies over and says, "Hey, authorized personnel only. You're not allowed to be in there." And Jim the Human Man, I think, has no choice now but to attack. He was unable to sneak past, and he must now deal with the flying sword. So now one of the things that is a little unclear here, but because I don't have this set up, I'm just going to set this up really quick. So I'm going to say the flying sword has 6 hit points. And I'm going to say the undead treant in room 4 has like 20 hit points. We'll say the water elemental in ink storage has 9 hit points. And actually, you know what? I'm going to change this 20. 20 is probably a lot. We're going to go with 15. I do want the undead treant to be kind of dangerous. And then the Cyclops editor is going to be, I think he'll be the 20. And we'll make him a 21 just so he's an extra difficult. So yeah, let's start. So it is Jim's, okay. So initiative has been rolled. And yeah, that's here. So 6 means the opponent goes first. So the sword attacks Jim, who has to roll a nim check. Now rolling equal to or under. So must test nim. So testing abilities. If the result is lower or equal, so we succeeded. We succeeded on our nim check. So he dodges out of the way of the flying pen. I think it's a large dancing pen. And then he will go ahead and make his attack with his axe. He has a one-handed axe. And he rolled a 1 under his 4 strength, which means that he does a d6 damage. He rolled a 5. Okay. So the flying sword, or the dancing pen, has been cleaved like, I think the like stock of the flying pen has been cracked, and it's leaking ink out of its nib, and it burbles. And I think we use, there's some rules here for, oh, okay, that's only if we attempt negotiation. So it's the next turn. So players can always talk, trick, and sneak to avoid violence, but violence is going on. So roll for turn initiative. So I assume we re-roll initiative. Okay, so the pen still goes first. And I think, so it's not possible for me to negotiate because my mystic is nothing. So I guess we don't have a choice. The pen is going to attack Jim again. Jim manages to dodge again. Amazing. The nimble Jim. He's not just a looker. He's not just strong. He's got the moves. You know what? This is one. And the pen. Jim attacks with his axe and does at least 1 point of damage. He does maximum damage, shattering the pen into 1,000 dancing pieces. Ink spills all over the floor, and the gift shop is now unmanned. So yeah, Jim has successfully cleared the gift shop and can now move on. And I think he is going to... So he was only trying this side door because he was kind of trying to sneak past... Like, I think this is behind the counter. So he's going to go through this back door here. And he finds himself in this hall. And it goes and kind of curves around. And he finds himself at a door. And at the door, I think he's going to listen. So he's going to try... I think it's a nimble test to listen. Yeah, perceive. So, unfortunately, my nim is 2, and I rolled a 3, so I'm unable to hear. I think there must be something noisy going on, so I'm unable to make out what is going on. So I'm just going to walk in. Okay, so we walk into room 2. Typesetting. Okay, so movable typeset spells out editor hops on. Alright, well I think, yeah, Jim's going to look at that. And he's not really going to know what to do with that. So, yeah, he'll kind of move, maybe arrange some of the pieces around. Yeah, let's have a little bit of fun with this at least. Editor hops on. I see trope. All right. Trope. I see hood. And yeah, we are in trope hood. There you go. That does nothing. Okay, so Jim the Human Man has just finished rearranging the letters in this room to say in trope hood, which doesn't mean anything. So he's just going to continue moving to the south here. And he enters into this long corridor. He goes past the door where where the gift shop was. And he ends up walking into room 3, where no door protects it. Huge plates of set type slam down on rolling reams of paper. He has to roll a dex, which I think in this case is a nim test, or become history, d8 damage. Which I'm going to make it d6 damage, because that's kind of what we're doing here. I think it's a d6 game. So, yeah, we're going to roll... Oh! I make my nim test, and I barrel through Jim barrels through the room, able to bypass any damage. He does the thing that they do in the Star Wars, the lava movie, where, you know, they're hopping from the plate to plate or whatever. It's awesome. Surprisingly, even his heavy armor, he's able to dodge the huge plates as they slam down on rolling reams of paper. All right, so cool. So Jim barely avoided a bad fate there. And he comes to a door where, I think he has given up on the idea of listening. This place seems loud. So he's going to walk right in to the paper warehouse. And I think the paper warehouse is just, it's a huge, like, roll of paper. And as he's walking through the room, the roll of paper says, Have you brought me poetry? Have you brought me meaning, little man? And Jim looks around terrified and says, Who is that? Who's saying these strange things to me? And the roll of paper, yes, smashed and stretched into paper, says, Oh, it is me. I once was an entire forest of cedar, but I have become just this thin, crushed roll of paper. Feed me ink. Give my life purpose. And yeah, Jim doesn't have that, and he didn't keep the pen, so Jim's gonna say, crap, I don't know, screw you, and light the torch. And I think that is going to cause the undead treant to be afraid. So I think what the effect of this is going to be is that Jim will be able to negotiate passage. The undead treant will not attack him, and he can continue moving through the dungeon. But if the undead treant sees him coming back through here again, he's likely going to try and get him by surprise. And so Jim comes out into this hallway here, and he can go to the north or he can go to the west. The hall also goes to the east, but it seems to end at a door. Although I think, like it ends at an empty wall, but I think he's actually going to check. He's going to use his ability to instantly spot traps and secrets. That just works. And so I think he's able to see this secret door, and he finds that this is a loop back on his way. And he's like, oh, well, that lets me bypass this trap here. Well, now that I'm close, maybe. And I think what he's going to do is he's going to pop down here. He's going to grab the pen, what's left of the pen, and he's going to grab an adventure. He's going to grab a Watcher DM adventure. And I think maybe he's got some dice on him. And he's going to run back over here, and he's going to come into the room, and he's going to say, okay, look, I may not have purpose, and I may not have meaning, but I think we could make both, and we could write down the greatness of our deeds by playing this game. And the treant is going to be a stoked undead treant who now can play solo role-playing games for the rest of his undeath and make character sheets on his own skin. That's metal as hell, dude. Alright, cool. So Jim comes back out here after a nice long session of some cool game. I think they're probably playing Troika. And or maybe they're playing this. Maybe they're playing Mini Myth. Because I think that would be a good game to play for this too. And Jim still has a decision to make. Does he want to go north or does he want to go west? And I think Jim's probably a bit of a completionist. He'll go ahead and pop into 5 here and see what's there. Ink makes a magical darkness, so he walks into a room full of blackness. It serves the editor and seeks freedom, and it ruins clothes. So yeah, I think, so I think the first thing that Jim does walking into this place is he lights that torch. So I'm going to say he removes a torch as he tries to get away the inky blackness, but only reveals that the room is black because it's covered in ink. And then the ink congeals and kind of bristles up to him. And says, let me out. I must be free. And Jim says, yeah, totally. You should totally be free. Also, look out. Like, I just had this armor pressed. So please don't ink my armor. And the ink elemental comes flying at him with its huge wave of black ink, and he comes tumbling out into the hall, and the ink washes over into here, and finds the tree. And now the tree and the ink can happily play Watcher DM adventures together. And they don't even need Jim. Now he doesn't have to play solo. He can do duet. So they can have a good time there. Jim, relieved that he doesn't have to deal with that anymore, goes down to the last room, and he enters into room 6. In room 6, a Cyclops editor thinks history is too long. It needs an edit pass, he cries. He wields a red pen, a longsword +1 that deletes on crit. Can't stand being corrected. Will rewrite history if you vow to serve him. Knows when he'll die. He'll rewrite your history. And so I think the Cyclops says to him, I knew you were coming, but this isn't my time, Jim the Human Man. Serve me, and I will make your history glamorous and great. And, I'm going to say Jim doesn't have much of a mystical streak. And probably doesn't really see what this guy is doing is all that bad. So Jim will take him up on it. Jim's in. Rewrite my history, great Cyclops. Give an edit pass. I think I could go for some right about now. So the Cyclops does that. Says, oh, okay then. And sets him up. And Jim gets to be the legendary Human Man. And I think that is our adventure. So we have succeeded in passing the adventure. And we leave the dungeon safely. And we are able to go ahead and return to a town. We do need a town to return to. So we're going to say Jim is from Grim Tower. And so he'll return to Grim Tower. And then next time we'll play with Jim, we'll play in Grim Tower. And we'll see how it goes there. But for now, Jim took no damage. He lost no stats. And he gets, I think, 3 hit points for completing an adventure. So he's going to go up to 14. And he's going to get a couple more abilities. And I think... I think he's become a bit of a trickster with his interaction with the undead. And I think he's also... I think he's going to increase his Juggernaut ability. That sounds fun. And so Jim is now level 2. He has leveled up. He didn't get any treasure or coin for that adventure. And in fact, he won't get rewarded for completing the quest because he didn't stop the Cyclops. He didn't end the Cyclops' tyranny over history. So, that's the story of Jim, the legendary Human Man. And thanks for hanging out while I played this little solo adventure. And I hope you'll tune in for the next one. If you want to watch some of my other videos, I do some flip-through reviews. I've done a bunch of adventure guides for all the adventures that we've published. And I also am doing a series on using random tables from different generators. Right now I'm in the Tome of Adventure Design, which is an enormous book. But I've also done some stuff from Sandbox Generator. I intend to do more stuff with some of the other... I know the World of Adventure... the Tome of World Design or World Building is coming out. Or is out. I'm waiting for the physical copy. And then I've got a bunch of little zines and stuff that I want to cover. So if you want to support, please hit like and subscribe. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified when I produce new videos. And otherwise, you can support me by going to watcherdm.com, purchasing any adventures off of the website there or any of our affiliates. Or you can go to patreon.com where you can get stuff like this that I've made for free. Because, like if you become a patron, you'll get it for free. And I've got some exclusive stuff for paid patrons. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for playing.